5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's a little chilly outside. Just a little cold. But it ain't bad. Because I hate the heat. And I love the snow. So I'm ready for Christmas time. Don't you know? Check it. I hate the sun. It makes me feel like I'm done. It makes me look like a hot bun. And I don't wanna feel like that, son. Oh yeah, I like the snow. 'Cause I'm hanging with your best hoe. She's gonna do snow angels with me. We're gonna fall in love, can't you see? And maybe Timmery will be mad. And that might just make me feel sad. But if it don't, then I'm okay. And I will wake up another day. Shot 30, that's us. Shot 30, we're riding on the short bus. Shot 30, that's what I said. Shot 30, catch me in your bed. And this is Shot 30 Podcast. I am Shayne Newbert. And I think that was probably my number one hit. Because, you know, I freestyle these songs for you all the time, and I never hear any feedback other than I suck. And I don't know why people would be so cruel out there. How could you be so mean to say that to me? All I do is give you my heart and my soul. And I love the snow. And I hope you love the snow too. Because it's time for cuddles. And it's time for hugs and kisses and hot chocolate. Maybe a little like, you know, some of those pornographies with the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who. Not Cindy Lou Who, but like an adult Cindy Lou Who. I've seen some of those videos. Some of those, I think I'm watching the wrong Grinch videos, you know? But this is Shot 30 Podcast. I'm Shayne Newbert. And we've done it. We succeeded. We've got guests lined up. I'm going to have a guest on right after this. And I think he's messaging me right now. Well, the only thing I got to say is if you're going to show up late, you're going to be finding me doing a podcast. Because that's just what I do. You know? I do podcasting. And I don't even know what it means to be a podcaster. Some people don't like to hear about me talk about my hemorrhoids. But if you do, this podcast is for you. This is Shot 30 Podcast, and also I want to make it clear, I'm going to get it set up. Okay, so we just dropped on the podcast sites. And so this is going to actually be called Shot 30 Podcast Episode 21, and it's also going to be called Shot 30 Podcast Episode 2. So if you're listening to this as the number 2, just know that in the next one I'm going to call it 23 or 22. And if that didn't make sense to you, well, good, because it didn't make sense to me. And Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by Mrs. Newby's Cakes and Cookies. And what Mrs. Newby's is bringing to you is beautiful cupcakes, delights, everything that your heart desires that's sweet. And she does wedding cakes, she does birthday cakes, she does everything. And she's my baby cakes. That's my wife. Timmery Newbert. Visit Mrs. Newby's Cakes and Cookies on Facebook today. And get it. Because you're going to love it. And if you don't, well then I'm really sorry for advertising it to you. And also you can visit Conspiracy Kimonos and get your custom-made gi for jiu-jitsu. He's a bad man, this guy who's selling these Conspiracy Kimonos. And I think he should come out with one called the Bermuda Triangle Choke. But he thought that was dumb. And he told me to quit living in the past. And I don't know why he'd say that. But you can visit Conspiracy Kimonos on Facebook and Instagram and order your gi for jiu-jitsu today. And also, this podcast is sponsored by Jerome Lovely. Have you ever needed companionship? You know, you want to impress your friends with a hot date? Well, if you're a girl or a guy, you can take, you know, like Conspiracy Kimonos is not Conspiracy. I mean, Jerome Lovely is a male escort service in the Quad Cities and Chicago area. And they'll just give you a night, you know, you just need a little company sometimes, a friend. And sometimes it's not easy to make a friend, but you can with Jerome Lovely. Visit Jerome Lovely on Facebook. And also visit my friend Tremaine Jordan out there in Kewanee and get your buttery blends today. And Handmade by Haley and get your custom-made signs coming out of Kewanee. Visit her on Facebook today. All right. I should start spreading that out a little bit more. You know? And I don't mean that in a sexual way, and I don't know why your minds go straight into the gutter with shit like this. You know? I didn't mean spread it out like a sheet. No, that's what I did mean. Like Mrs. Newbies does her frosting on her cake. Spread it out like that. But yeah, we've had some guests on the show, man. They've been awesome. You know, Alomeen was great. Nick Johnson was great. Joe Fox, his will be coming up soon. We'll have Tyler Horry here. Julian Harris here too. He's a rap musician, and he's also an aspiring comedian, and I think that's cool. I think that's a really cool thing. And especially when he asked me advice, like on doing stand-up, I think that makes my heart flutter like a butterfly. And actually the other day, speaking of butterflies, I was in the office working, and a butterfly fluttered onto my desk, a monarch. And I thought that was a pretty special moment. And it didn't make it special a little bit because I was watching Blue Planet on the background, and a poor little deer was just being hacked up by a wolf. And that was pretty bad, so I watched something pretty creepy and scary happen. And then a few minutes later, nature blesses me with a little butterfly on my nose. And I kind of thought that was a special moment for me that I had with that butterfly. So I took him outside, and every time I walked outside for the next 4 hours, that monarch would come right up and he'd land on my hat or on my arm or on my nose again. And it brought me a warm little tickle. And when's the last time you got a nice little warm tickle? I said lice, I know. And I know some jackass out there is going to be like, this fuckbag just said lice. And I didn't mean to say lice, okay? I was talking about bugs with the monarch, and then lice popped into my head. And I've never had lice, so if any of you think I'm gross or disgusting, that's pretty rude of you to think those things. Everyone's mind just goes straight into the gut. Actually, I guess it's my mind, since no one even said anything yet. And I don't even have to post that. I can clip it out if I want to. But anyways, me and my buddy Riley, we were working out today. And I don't know if you guys know Riley, but Riley used to be really, really, really strong. And he still is. When we started powerlifting together, like 10 years ago, we never thought we'd achieve the things that we'd achieve in powerlifting. And then we had a falling out where he was just kind of a little mean to me for a while. And that happens with people. But, you know, he made a warm presence felt back to me again. So we rekindled our flame. You know, a little flicker turns into a flame, and it turns into a fire, and soon enough you're Tom Hanks on Castaway, and you've created fire, and maybe you have some blisters on your hands, and that hurts your hands. But anyways, Riley bench pressed 415 today. That's strong. And he deadlifted 515 the other day, and that's strong. And I think strength comes from your soul. I think it really comes from your soul. You know, and me and Timmery got into a deep talk the other day, and I think maybe you'll like this. You know, she's like, I really just hope that there's something after we're dead and gone. I hope there's something else after this. And she said, I hope I'm with you. And I thought that was sweet and kind and loving of her. And then I thought to myself, what is after all this life? And then my brain said, well, what was before it? And that's scary because it's nothing. Before we're born, we're nothing. And then we go through these small phases of life where you're a baby or you're young, and then you're a teenager, and then you're, you know, middle-aged, and then you're old, and then you're dead. And you start this race, this whole race of life, we start it the same way we started. Or we finish the same way we started. As nothing. Before we're born, we're nothing. And then after, we're nothing. And I hope that's not all that there is out there for us. And maybe like, what if this is just like a phase, like with the life we're living right now, what if it's just a phase? You know how when we're young, like we change, like we continue to change. Well, maybe what if and then you become a teenager and an adult and all these things you change with each stage. Well, what if after you die is your next stage after this? And then like from the ages like 80 to 200, you're in your middle life. Like it's not just you're old. Well, now you're in your middle life, and being like looking really old looks young to everyone around you in the next life or like the next phase. And if you start thinking about life in that perspective, then you kind of just fall down a rabbit hole. But you know what? I was watching Blue Planet today, and man, I got fired up. You know that we have a painted turtle, right? And a Russian turtle. In Singapore or something like that, it was showing that there is a sea turtle like hatching site right beside the road. And these sea turtles hatch, and they see the highway lights, and instead of going to the ocean, they get distracted and go the other way towards the lights. And almost like 80% of them die because they get run over by the cars. And what disgusted me is the BBC, and I'm not saying big black cock, okay? I'm saying the BBC, like the news thing. Well, they're like videotaping these turtles just getting run over. And I understand they're doing a documentary about life, but like those little turtles don't have to die. They're falling in like sewage drains and stuff, and then they're just videotaping them stuck in there. Get them out. Don't you care about life? They didn't need to die. That's man-made, the reason they're dying. We're not eating them. We're not like, we're watching them die, and that's not fun for me. I don't ever want to watch something die. Other than giant, really, really giant spiders that look like they could hurt me, the kids, my wife, or the dogs, or someone I like. But this is Shot 30 Podcast, and I'm going to take a quick shot, okay? Okay. And so, like I said before, I don't like to watch stuff die. I like to watch life. I like to watch people blossom. I like to watch the world blossom. Because we're all these special creatures, aren't we? I think we're all so different, and it makes us unique and special. And, some people, everybody has something they're good at too. Isn't that kind of cool? Even if it's like one guy can put a spoon on his nose and tickle his grandmother and it can bounce it on his nose. Or the next guy can bend that spoon with his mind. Or you have like Magneto out there that could rip the spoon in half with his mind. That's pretty neat. And I've been working on my card tricks. I think I am a magician. But I just haven't figured out how to complete the tricks yet. And I'm not talking about silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I'm talking about silly Shayne. Tricks are for magicians. And I saw a pretty cool movie once about magicians. It had Hugh Jackman and somebody else in it. Not Christian Bale. Not Jake Gyllenhaal. Who was in that movie? The magician movie. I don't remember, but Hugh Jackman was in it. And that was a damn good movie. And that's all I gotta say about that. But speaking of good movies, have you seen Joker? Are you in on the controversy? Dude, I love controversial shit. But I don't like talking about it. So I'll cash me outside. How about that? I'd rather talk about the cash me outside. How about that, girl? Because at least she made something of her life. And I haven't. And maybe I should work a little bit harder. But yeah, anyways, we're just a couple weeks away from Halloween. And that means I keep having the worst struggle of my life. I keep going to Walmart, or I keep going to Spencer's, and I keep going to the Lion's Den, and I keep going out to find my Halloween costume. And the biggest problem is I wanted to be Mr. Rogers. I wanted to be Fat Thor. I wanted to be Bob Ross. I wanted to be everybody. I wanted to be everybody. And I keep buying outfits like I'm going to be everybody. And then I can't make up my mind about what I want to do. And I've got a Halloween party this weekend I'm going to attend. Me and Timmy are. We're getting dressed up for the ball. You know? But yeah, so like, I think that we're moving on. We're moving on in this thing we call life. And the more and more we develop into the people that we want to be, the happier we're going to be when we reach that finish line. And my finish line could be tomorrow. And if it is, I hope Tim reposts this podcast. And also, I know I lived a happy life. And you know what they say? Happy wife, happy life. And my wife is happy. She's a little horny too much. She's got a freakishly insane horny level. But she's also the sweetest woman I've ever met. And she's upstairs making me tacos right now. So you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go eat me a goddamn taco and get your mind out of the gutter, people. Because I'm not talking about a food taco. You're welcome. This is Shot 30 Podcast. I'm Shayne Newbert. Please visit us, like us, share, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. What are you afraid of? You afraid that your mother might see this podcast? Your father might see this podcast? Oh, I mean, if you're a grown adult, you shouldn't worry about those things. But if you're under the age of 17, you shouldn't be watching this podcast. Or 18, depending which state you're in. But this is Shot 30 Podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please come back. Because we love you.